Usually when I make these videos, I normally change the audience to over 18. This time, hopefully allowed by TikTok, I'm going in other social media, I'm going to have this full conversation with everyone. Okay? Because I think a lot of people is not understanding, you know, what I've said in the past when I said people need to be quiet, right? These are for guys, right? If you know the story, you know that these are the four guys that are allegedly claiming that they are Nolan Wells' friends for many years. These are the guys, I believe, all four of them. I only see, I think I've even seen Nolan photos with him and three other guys. But I'm guessing the fact that they're all coming out is with their support of their lawyer, is they're saying that they all knew Nolan. They were, the thought is that they knew Nolan. They were at the July 4th events, and they're claiming that they're Nolan friends of many years, and they don't know why this is pretty much happening to them. From the first moment I heard this story about Nolan West, I've said over and over again, people in that community needs to be quiet. I've said it. I've had several videos in which they need to be quiet. I said it was a bad idea that the sheriff came out saying that there's no there. It was a bad idea that the stepmother, who was a judge, saying that my son did nothing wrong. It was a bad idea. And above all, the worst idea was attacking Nolan's mom, Miss Christina, when she shared photos and she asked questions about her son, his father, Mr. Elmon, when he wanted to know what happened to his son. It was a bad idea. As a fellow survivor, I understand the pain, and I said over and over again, in losing someone that you love dearly, that's part of your family, that you watch grow up, you help raise, if it's not your own personal child, to be unalived mysteriously and you don't know anything about it. Especially when you're out there asking for help to find out what happened to your loved one. It's hurtful when you can't find out the truth. I've known many survivors to this day who own loved ones was unalive many years ago, and they still don't have justice, don't have answers. So from the moment the story came out, I kept on, and I started seeing people coming out. I said, everybody should be quiet. Don't say nothing. Let the investigation go on. Let's find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then we started seeing black folks coming outside, trying to explain to other black folks in a massive community of black folks how what we know about the history of Mississippi and how what we know about the unalivement of one of our own is just our thoughts and our delusion, that there's no such thing as ageism in America anymore. We need to move forward, and we need to wait to see what happened with the investigation. But the investigation shouldn't have gone on anyway, because we already know what happened to Nolan Wells. And I've said over and over again, I said, these people really need to be quiet. I said, because they don't understand what is happening, how we, as black folks, as black mom, feel about what's going on, what happened, the mystery of it all. The point is that a young black male went on a trip with his white friends. Okay? We don't know how many. We don't know if it's 3. We don't know if it's 4. Some people say there was 30 of his friends on different boats. We don't know. These white friends left him behind, came home, didn't tell the parents. The parents had to track down until it was late. Didn't call the Coast Guard. They had his phone. They had his car. They had his keys. And when people started asking questions, nobody had a direct answer. Everyone said, I don't know. The last time I saw him, he was here. Last time I saw him, he was talking to that person. Last time I saw him, we told him to get on the boat. Last time I saw him, he didn't want to listen. Last time I saw him, this. We don't know. All we do know is that people are talking bad about pass. That's what we know. People are talking bad about us. We don't know why people are talking bad about us. We don't know why the mom feels a certain way. We don't know why the dad feels a certain way. We think it's wrong, and we need to come out here and we need to tell our story. No, you don't need to tell your story. You don't. You don't. The best thing your parents should have done was to tell you to shut up. Let the investigation finish. Let it go through, and then let's figure out what's going on. Then we had the different people check Nolan, and we still don't have the results of that. We went to the grand jury. We don't have the results of that. We don't have nothing except for white folks, white young men coming out telling the rest of us how they feel about them, about the story, about Nolan Wells. You have people coming out threatening media, content creators saying that you defaming our name. How? By asking questions about what happened to Nolan Wells. At the end of the day, this whole thing, right, has become less about Nolan Wells and more about them. And now they're doing another interview. Why? To tell us what? The interview, and I only heard clips because I can't phantom going to OT website to listen to this. I just can't do it. I can't. So I listened to some clips. You just don't get it. Them and their parents just don't get it. They don't get it. Most parents, if not all parents, don't expect their children to go out with friends, end up missing, unalive, found a day or two later, and the friends have no answers. Most of us don't have it. And most of us, a good amount of people, maybe not most, feels that if the circumstances were reversed, the treatment of the case wouldn't be as it is if it was reversed. Also, a lot of us feel that if it was one of the friends that was the same nationality, color, there would be answers. These friends will stop everything in the world to go look at for their friends that same moment, that same night. They would have supported the families. They wouldn't have closed up. They wouldn't have disloyed up. Some of them, they wouldn't have been acting shady. And the term shady means people wouldn't have so much questions. The fact that I'm hearing that some of these kids are talking about that people don't understand the community and that, racism never played a part. This is what I'm hearing. I may have heard incorrectly. Just shows again that they just don't get it. So instead of keep coming out here with these interviews, trying to do this, I don't know what they're trying to do. Be quiet. Don't say nothing. Wait until the investigation is completed, and then we'll see. But they're not going to listen. Not going to listen to me or anybody else. And this is the prime example of what privilege look like. Because for the rest of us, we would have stayed quiet, wait till the investigation finish, help the family, and pray her up.